Hi, everybody. JB back again. This is sort of I think of it as kind of a bonus video. You might think of it as a punishment video, but I've done the series of 10 videos that I wanted to do on local history called Did You Ever Wonder? And I thought, well, maybe you would wonder how to find some more local history on your own. And so I've got a list of books and so forth and so on I'm going to go through with you right now to show you how you can do some of this research yourself if you'd like. Okay, so back in long ago, before anybody had written a book, we had some historians. A.W. Arrington was one of them. He wrote, he fictionalized this stuff, but there's a lot of history in it under the name of Charles Summerfield. I think I've talked about him before by now. Also, James H. Van Hoos is first, I think of him as the first legitimate local historian that we have. He was great. And then Uncle Gus Lewis gave us his memories, and they're pretty good too. But the first collected thing is in the Goodspeed 1889 History of Washington County. They did a bunch of states, and they did all the counties in the states. And you see the webpage down there, the www.hearthstonelegacy.com. I ordered myself a PDF version of this history of Washington County Goodspeed history. And it's really wonderful because you can search all through it, and whatever, it makes it really easy to access things. And it's a real great resource. So Goodspeed's History of Washington County, 1889. Then, of course, the book that's the source of all Fayetteville history, in a way to start, is W.S. Campbell's 100 Years of Fayetteville, which he wrote for the centennial in 1928. You can see it's 1828 to 1928 that he covers. This version here also includes the Journal of Marion Tebbets Baines. The Tebbets family lived at headquarters house where the Washington County Historical Society has its own headquarters today. One thing about Campbell, the early part, is things were a little different in 1928. Mr. Campbell basically lifted parts of the Goodspeed directly up and dropped them right down at the front part of his book. But it's absolutely invaluable work. If you're going to study about Fayetteville history, you need to look at Mr. Campbell's book. And then in 1982, Kent Brown put out the Fayetteville Pictorial History. This is one of my very favorite books. It's got so many great pictures of the town. You've seen them in the Square book and in Charlie Allison's books and all over the place. Great photographs. And the history is really solid. It's out of print, so you'll have to either, if you got an old copy, hold on to it. Otherwise, you might have to go to the library to get it. Okay, and speaking of Charlie Allison, my friend, he's got two really good books out at this point. A Brief History of Fayetteville came out in 2017, and The Images of America, Fayetteville in 2011, which he did with our late friend, the wonderful Ellen Compton. These are invaluable books, and Charlie's a great historian. And some of the pictures, even in both books, even though the history book is less picture-oriented, obviously, he's even got some great pictures in there that I had never seen before. In fact, one I'll mention is, I probably will discuss it at some stage. He's got pictures of the old wooden bridges across Lafayette and Maple. I'd never seen them anywhere. That's incredible. So Charlie's a great source there. And my other really good friend, Tony Wapple, of course, has written three, again, invaluable books. These are all invaluable books. Tony's books will be used 100 years from now like Campbell's are. His first one was Once Upon Dixon, which is about Dixon Street, the entire length of it. And his next book was On the Avenue, which is an illustrated history of Highway 71B from Greenland to Lake Fayetteville. I mean, that was a serious work and undertaking. The thing about these books is so great is Tony gives you the history of every address at these places. And so then in 2017, I helped him do the Square book, which he does the same thing with the Square. Wonderful books. One thing I joke about all the time, On the Avenue, it's such a big book. That is a seriously heavy book, but it's a great book. Come on now. There we go. So another source to look for would be journals, different types of Arkansas Historical Quarterly, which I don't have. shown here, but we have a copy of the Flashback, which is a quarterly journal of the Washington County Historical Society. I have put Walter J. Lemke's name up there above Miss Leslie Stringfellow Reed there, because Lemke helped found the Washington County Historical Society in 1951, and he was the editor of the Flashback from 1951 to 1968, and was working on the issue when he died in late 1968. So I always had to give him a plug. So anyway, so Flashback and other journals, newspapers, magazines, the reference area at the Fayetteville Public Library and Special Collections, University of Arkansas, great resources in this area. And of course, I mentioned already, but we here in Fayetteville, we have the Fayetteville Public Library, FPL, which is being expanded as I speak into an, it was already, in my opinion, for the size of town, a world-class library. I have no idea how to describe it once this expansion is done. Unbelievable. And the reference section, if you're doing research, the reference section is outstanding. I use it all the time when I can. Can't right now, but when we get back in business, I'll be in there bugging all my friends, the reference librarians. Great source. Any library is a great source, but this is one of the great ones. And that's all. I just want to do that. There's I could do a whole episode on newspaper articles here local that you could to key on, but I'm not going to do that today. I just wanted to leave you with this. This is just like a little bonus thing. When in the beginning and ending slide here, this beautiful picture looking southeast over the historic Washington County Courthouse. And so anyway, so let's, I'm trying to get this, trying to get it to stop. Here we go. The Zoom sometimes it won't pop up for me to stop the recording. Anyway, so let me close out and say thank you for watching these. Appreciate it very much. We'll see whether I do any more or not, but in the meantime, I had a great time doing these, and hopefully this little episode will help you a little bit if you want to do some research of your own. So be safe, stay safe and healthy, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.